Hey guys, this is HGO Mario coming at you with another video. And on this video, what we're going to be doing is playing against Jimbor. Now, as some of you may have noticed, my Smurf name seems to be Papa Smurf. I'm actually quite fond of that one. But in this game, we're going to be seeing a Terran against Terran matchup. And I know the Terran videos tend to get a bit more views considering that most of my demographic are Terran players. Although, I do recommend that you dabble in the other races. As much fun as it is to play Terran, I do recommend that you play Protoss and Zerg as well, for the sake that, you're missing a lot of the game. And it's a beautiful game, you get to see it from the other side. But not just that, you actually will improve as a Terran player if you dabble a little bit, at the very minimum, with the other races, so you can understand it a little bit more. Even if it's just with friends, even if it's just against the computer. If you want to improve, I do recommend dabbling in the other races. On to the show. This is kind of a big map. This is a pretty big map. This map specifically is it's a four-player map, so they can spawn in several places. Usually, I find that the opponent is closer more often than not, but that just seems, that could just be being a little bit silly. As for strategies in Terran against Terran, you can do, the bigger the map, the more viable Reaper openers are, maybe 15 CC openers. Or 15, not 15 CC, which means 15 fast expand, but 15 reactor, which is where you would get like a supply depot on 10 common, 12 barracks, and then a 15 refinery. You get 2 marines and then a reactor, which is a fine strategy. You can even do that on short maps, I guess, but it makes you a little weaker to certain types of plays. Specifically, a marine tank with a gas first gets kind of difficult. Marine tank medevac. Banshee can be a little difficult, but it's ultimately kind of how you play it out and what you scout that are kind of important. In this game, we go for a gas first. Now, the gas first options are very versatile. There's a lot of things you can do. Gas first Banshee, and even that itself has its own variation. You can go gas first Banshee with like 4 or 5 Marines, gas first Banshee with 1 Marine. You can go gas first Raven, Viking, and then a Banshee with Cloak, so a delayed Banshee. You can go a Cloakless Banshee to force him to try to get missile turrets. So you just assume that the Banshee isn't going to get a lot of kills. You try to do what you can or keep it in your army. You just show it as a threat, pick off 1 or 2 SCVs or something and back off. It's a bit of an investment, but it might get him to get missile turrets, which is even a bigger investment if he gets the engineering bay and missile turrets. Especially if he gets up to 3 missile turrets, which is the standard one. Which, all together, you're looking at hundreds of minerals compared to just 150 for the Banshee and the 100 gas for the Banshee. And the Banshee will even help you in the fight. Although not much, it will still help you, and you can still use it later on to mess with expansions. If you keep the Banshee alive, there's a lot of possibilities for what you can do. In Terran against Terran, I like to wall off. Whether I go mech or bio, I do like to wall off. Usually it's with supply depots. Very rarely, however, mostly in the past, I would also wall off with a barracks and a reactor. More so that it's rare now because it just seems that it gets more difficult if they get into some positions. Some strategies that I used to have problems with is where they would get the siege tank close enough to my ramp and the barracks would start to become pointless and I lose the add-on already. This will allow you a little bit more time. So I do think that in the end this is probably better. As you can see, I'm going for a 1 Marine bench. And what we do is we get 1 Marine to help torpedo out scouts. We get a Hellion or Widowmine. If you go Widowmine, your Banshee is going to be slightly delayed. You can get it before Cloak or Cloak before the Banshee. Kind of depends on how you want to go, but you have to acknowledge that if you get the Cloak second, it's not going to be cloaked fast, very fast. But if you get the Cloak first, then the Banshee is going to be later at its destination. In this case, we get the Banshee before the Cloak because I got the Widowmine. However, usually I do prefer to get the Hellion. Now, at this phase, you can go either bio or mech. You can make a decision. Am I going to make a Marine or a Hellion? Whichever one you start to produce out of, the other one is going to make a reactor. And the reason for this is that you want to start making 2 at a time, either 2 2 Marines or 2 Hellions because you need to get that supply up in case they go Marine tank. You need a lot of units. Now I try to put a supply depot down at about 30-31 supply for my 35th. You know, you can see it's 34 out of 35. To increase that, I think believes it puts it at about 43. And I want to, yeah, it's 43. I want to make a command center before I go above that 43. That would be preferential unless I'm doing some kind of fast attack. So some of the things you can do is maybe cut off just a few SCVs to go ahead and get that command center. Not something you really want to do, but if also the command center location is important. If you put it down at the natural, you don't protect it as much. But if you put it in the main, you know, if your main is under assault and you can't stop it because we went for a Viking, we have to save scans. We haven't been saving scans because now his Banshee could be in our base if he was doing one. We knew he wasn't, but if he was doing one, then, you know, we could definitely have some problems. But you don't want your command center in that situation near you because what if he is gone ahead and, you know, he's attacking your mineral line and that command center, he can just keep sniping the SCV. If the SCV is at the natural, it's a lot harder for him to kill that SCV. Regardless, we'll talk about this more another time. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And more videos coming every single day your way.